Hello, hello, everybody. This afternoon, I have the pleasure to speak to Nathan Hirsch. Nathan, how you doing today?
Doing great, Ed. How are you?
Good. I've been following you since you started. I think we both started, I guess, being out there a little bit more in the public around the same time. And I was always impressed with your yes, can do attitude. I know you have challenges. I've had, everyone has challenges. And like I told you before, it's not what you do, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react. And I've always found you a positive role model on that issue. So thank you for that. We're
Appreciate
going
it.
to jump right in. I know you did first you were doing HR and then you switched to EcomBalance. How did that happen? Like, how did you switch from free up to you doing HR to like what was the reason for it?
Yeah, I mean, so I was a seller before that. I started selling in 2008, sold from 2008 to 2015, and I was always behind on my bookkeeping. I was a 20-year-old kid. I had no idea what I was doing. I would ignore it. I would hire college kids to do it. I would dump it on my CPA at the end of the year. And that went on for years and years and years. And I never really knew how much money I was making. Fast forward ahead when we decided to open up free up and take a lot of our Amazon VAs and offer them to other sellers. One of the best decisions I ever made was hiring a bookkeeper from day one, before we were profitable, before we proved free up. And not only did that help us sell free up 4 years later, because we had 4 years of immaculate books going back to day one, but more importantly, it helped us make good decisions every single month. It helped us scale from 1 million to year one to 5 in year two, 9, 12, and then eventually sell it. So when we exited free up in 2019, we started looking at, hey, how can we take systems in our business, things that we do really well, and offer them to other people? And the idea of bookkeeping was top of mind. We just know the difference between a business that has a good bookkeeping process versus one that didn't. And we started interviewing e-commerce sellers and found a market fit and launched EcomBalance.
Right, amazing. What would you say are the biggest mistakes Amazon sellers make? And before we get that, and I always like that, do you think most Amazon sellers make more than they think or less than what they think?
I either think they make less or they don't know which parts of their business make more or less. And I think that's a big mistake is segmentation, because we live in an era of you got Amazon, Amazon UK, Amazon Japan, but then you also got Shopify and Walmart and TikTok Shop and all these really shiny objects. But the truth is, you only have so much time and so many resources. There are sellers out there that are spending way more time on Amazon UK than they should because their Amazon US account is way more profitable, or vice versa on Walmart or Shopify. So one of a few mistakes is just not knowing what your margins are for the different parts of your business. You probably see this in service provider businesses all the time. If you're offering appeals and you're offering PPC and you're offering SEO, each of those services is more or less profitable than the other. And unless you have a good bookkeeping process that's segmented, you're not going to know where to focus your time or where you need to increase your price or reduce costs. So segmentation is a big part of it. But I think that the number one mistake sellers make is not hiring a bookkeeper that understands e-commerce. I actually own two bookkeeping businesses, and the e-commerce one is the more expensive one. It's the more complicated one because e-commerce bookkeeping is complicated. There's different marketplaces. Each one's have different fees. You need a connecting tool to connect to the different marketplaces. There's inventory. There's cost of goods sold. So you want to hire a bookkeeper that understands e-commerce. And a simple example of this, if you hire a bookkeeper that doesn't, is they'll take the net that's deposited into your bank account, and that'll be the top line of your income statement, where really it's Amazon sales minus all the fees, refunds, returns, all of that, and then the net deposit in your bank account. So just hiring a bookkeeper that really understands e-commerce and not just going with the local bookkeeper who might work with real estate agents or brick and mortar stores, that's a big key. And no entrepreneur, no seller should ever be doing bookkeeping themselves. It's a terrible use of your time. You'll waste a lot of just valuable time that should be spent elsewhere. But also, you're probably just going to have to pay someone to redo it later. I can't tell you how many times I've seen entrepreneurs spend hours and hours and hours every single month, and it's a complete disaster that has to get redone. So hire a bookkeeper from day one and make sure they understand e-commerce.
But how about using your accountant's bookkeeping?
So I personally like to split up. So if you think of accounting in three parts, you've got your bookkeepers, you've got your CPA or tax person, and then you've got your CFO, maybe as you get a little bit bigger. And each one is usually good at their own lane. The CFO is good for business decisions, the CPA is good for tax strategy and filing taxes, and the bookkeeper is there to get you your monthly books on time. What you'll find if you hire a CPA to do the bookkeeping is they have their own deadlines. They have tax season, they have tax extensions. It's very hard for them to be on time every single month. And they're doing the books in a way that's right for taxes. The numbers might be accurate, but they're not necessarily doing it in a way to show you information to help you every single month. For example, you can take all your expenses and put them together in expenses, and that's right from a tax standpoint, but that doesn't help you as a seller make decisions each month. You want it broken down a lot more than that. CPAs tend to be more expensive, and there's no checks and balances. If you have a separate CPA and a bookkeeper, they're going to tell you if your CPA is doing a poor job or vice versa. If you have everything in one service provider, they're never going to talk bad about other people on their team. So you're kind of just crossing your fingers and hoping that you hired the correct one. So I've always split it up, separate CPA, separate bookkeeper, let them communicate with each other, and you'll save a lot of money that way too.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Do you charge, is there like a vastly higher fee if you're doing 20 million a year versus 5 million a year?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's more transactions. How many marketplaces you sell on is another factor because we use a connecting tool called Link My Books that charges per marketplace. But if you go to ecombalance.com/pricing, we have a price estimator tool that you can figure out what your monthly ballpark price will be. To get a real quote, you still have to fill out a quick form and give us access to your current books, but that should give you a good monthly average. And then if there's any catch-up cleanup work, you take your monthly fee, multiply it out by how far we have to go back, and we usually hook people up if we have to go back as well. So we don't try to be the cheapest price. We don't try to be the most expensive, but we shoot for fair pricing and a high level of service.
Right, very, very interesting, and you make a lot of sense, like always. One final question. Bird's eye view, where do you see Amazon selling in 2024 versus, let's say, 2018, 2019? I mean, my perspective, again, this is anecdotal, but my perspective is that it's gotten, I mean, it's always getting harder, but it's getting harder in harder ways. Like it's been not just the normal trajectory of getting harder, it's becoming to the point where I know people who have left the industry, and I don't want to be pessimistic, and it could be, there's always people coming and going. But what's your position with Amazon selling it? Do you think Amazon is just saying screw it, and we're just going to make the buyer happy, and if the seller can make money, make money? What's your take on that, bird's eye view?
Yeah, it's definitely getting harder, but I think the people that have success are the people that focus on it being a business, growing a brand, being on different platforms, really focusing on your profit margin and not just the vanity metrics of revenue and stuff like that. I think the people that really focus on, hey, I'm running a business and everything that goes along with the business, rather than I'm an Amazon seller, to me, that's the direction that it's going. And we've seen that with our clients. We have clients that are crushing it. We've of course have clients that have gone out of business, but the clients who have an eye on their margin every single month and they're tracking it religiously, they're increasing prices when necessary. They're focused on decreasing prices when they can. Those are the people that have success, rather than the people who are just taking a course and trying to execute it and treating it as a get rich quick. To me, that doesn't work anymore. You have to build a real business with different channels, different marketing tactics, different manufacturers, and really have an eye on your margins.
Yeah, so I agree. I think brands are in a better position now than resellers, and I also think for the first time, everyone is always saying multi-channel, but I think for the first time, multi-channel is there's a real opportunity in multi-channel because people are doing real business on TikTok Shop and on Shopify and on Walmart. And I think Amazon is probably still going up, but I think the percentage of the pie, in my opinion, is going down. So, see.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right. Okay. Like always, it's a pleasure, and you'll send me the links and if there's any discounts, and hopefully people in our community will sign up or check it out if you give value.
Yeah, anyone that comes through you gets 2 free months. Just mention Ed's and you'll get 2 free months of bookkeeping. You can connect with me, Nathan Hirsch, on any social media platform, and appreciate you letting me chat about EcomBalance.
Okay, yeah, great. Thank you so much, and wish you all health and happiness. Thank you so much.
You too.